Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at RUNE. This is going to be a lower time frame video. We do have our higher time frame video up above, so check that out if you haven't already. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so we seem to have had this nice strong impulsive move to the upside, and the way that I'm still currently looking at this, given the current structure here, is that what we have here is a 5-wave structure. So I'm treating this as wave 1, 2, looking for this as a third, and then wanting confirmation of this fourth. Now, the typical fourth wave area that we look to target is this 167 to this 135. If we do continue to hold this 135 level, I will be looking for continuation to the upside in this fifth wave. If, however, we start to break down below this 135, invalidation only really comes here by crossing this wave 1 at this $1.11. But what I would be looking for then is the potential that we could actually see some extension within these waves. Now, if we're going to see extension within the waves here, what we'd be looking for is something like this, where this becomes 1, 2. We'd look at this potentially as another 1 and 2 here, in which case what we'd be expecting is a deeper retracement to this $1.35 to this $1.07 level. What we'd be looking for then is to be a bigger three-wave structure, bringing us back up into some of these lows and highs over here, looking to retest the zone before looking for continuation up. Now, if we did see something along these lines, where price actually starts to break down here, we look to actually target out this golden pocket area, which would be this 123 to this 120 level, and then we look to push to the upside. Our target would actually be here at this $4.37 for the blue third wave. So we can see here that actually this would be looking for a bigger breakout here, because what we would then get is that after this third wave completes, we get a fourth and a fifth, and then that would all be within this yellow wave 3 here, and we'd get another fourth and a fifth. So this would be looking for a much bigger breakout to the upside here. This other way of looking at it would just be a 5-wave structure up here. Now, if this 5-wave move actually does look to play out in this way, we have two options from that point. What I would then be looking for is whether this move actually becomes 5 and then we see 3 waves down, find support again here towards this 117 to this 092. Now these targets are based off of this yellow target box. If there's any alteration to these targets, then obviously this will push this box either up or down, so we need to just be aware of that. But effectively, if we want to see this trend, we need to see this 5-wave move complete. We see 3 waves back down here, finding support above this low, and then seeing that continuation up. Otherwise, what we could have here is that this whole move could just be a bigger flat correction from further back here. We have a 3-wave move here for our A wave, we have a 3-wave move here for our B wave, and what we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the common target area that I'd be looking for here as a potential rejection zone would be between this 1236 and this 1618, which would be this $2.43 to this $3.45. If we do see price looking to push up into this zone in this 5-wave structure, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this, we can see here, if I overlay this count, this 243 is towards this 1236 level, so we'll be keeping an eye on that level if we do look to continue to push up there. If we get the extension, however, this would actually look to push us through this zone, so this would make it less likely that we're actually getting a flat correction in this zone. But this all ties into the big idea here, that what we could have is that in both of the counts here, either we count this as ABC and this is a corrective structure, and we're looking for another B wave here as a connection, and then looking for that continuation down. If that's the case, 565 to this 274 is going to be a common rejection zone. Now, what this would mean is that if we do get a bigger flat correction here, where we get this as 3, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what we could then see is an interaction here with this channel again before seeing continuation to the downside. If we do have to push up here, this would actually move our target up as well, and would put our 1-to-1 towards this zone of this 2715. If, however, we fail to develop that additional fourth and a fifth, and we also fail to form this as 1, 2 here, what we could get is that this could just be W, X, and Y. So this could just be a 3-wave move for a Y wave, and then we'd be looking for this continuation down from this point. If this is the case, effectively what our target would be then as a minimum would be this zone of this 3826, and then our 1-to-1 would actually be much lower down here towards this 1353. So we have to be careful of this more bearish idea here. The other way of looking at this is that saying that the bigger move to the upside actually completed over here with a truncation, and what we're saying is once again the same idea, that this could be A, this could be B, and then we're looking for a C wave down. Now, the key difference with this is that in this case here, it would definitely have to be a 5-wave structure to complete this move to the downside, because we would be counting this as a 5-wave move down, this whole structure here as a corrective move, and we'd need to see another 5-wave move to the downside. If we do see something like this, depending on how high we come here, like I said, you know, if we form this as a flat correction, we could look to push up into this higher red target box, this $4.35 to this $2.42, before seeing this C wave to the downside, in which case, if we did move to this $3.35, this would look to sweep this high here and would also move this 1-to-1 up to this level of this 35.65. So it's going to be key here what happens after this. If we do form a 5-wave move, then we need to see it hold support if we want to see that continuation to the upside. If we actually see this 5-wave structure here complete in the yellow count that we've got here, where this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, what we need to see to confirm that this is not a C wave is to see 3 waves come back down, hold this zone, and then see that continuation. Okay, so now we're going to come in here and we're going to talk about this potential of this 4th wave that we've got playing out here. Now, if this is a 4th wave, what I would be looking for, given this current move down, is that either this structure is going to become a zigzag, in which case what we'd be expecting is that this is A, this is B, and then we'd be looking for this C wave to the downside. Now, the C wave 1-to-1 is here at this $1.37. Given the current structure to the downside here, though, however, we could always potentially look to overshoot this. If we do look to overshoot it, what I would be looking for then would be possibility to bring us back down here into this zone of this 127 to this 121. Now, if we were to look at this as a potential 1.618, if this is going to extend where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we can see that this would potentially look to actually move us down towards this 127 to this 121 level before actually having that continuation to the upside. The problem is, because this wave 2 is actually so big further back here, if I come back onto the 4-hourly, we can see that this wave 2 is quite large. Now, we'd want to see something quite similar with this wave 4 in time. So if we do get something like this as a zigzag here, I would not think that this is the completed move. I would be expecting a bounce up and then seeing some continuation afterwards. If I overlay that C wave, we can see that that 1-to-1 actually aligns quite nicely here with this 135, which is that 50% level, the lowest really we want to come with our wave 4. If we do see just a 3-wave move down, you'll be seeing how we react from that point. Now, if we come back onto the hourly, we need to also just be careful here, because there is potential that we could count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if we can count this as a 5-wave move here, there is the potential that either what we could get is that this move down is A, we get A, B, and C, in which case this becomes our A wave, we have a B wave and a C wave. 1-to-1 is up here at this $2.08, and this could look to push us up into this typical overshooting B wave target box, which would be here at this 228 to this 201. So if we just see 3 waves actually develop to the upside here, we need to be careful that we don't get a 5-wave move back to the downside. So this move is designed to move up, sweep the liquidity above this high, move down, sweep the liquidity below the low, and then look for that continuation after that point. So going to be keeping an eye on this idea as time goes on here. Like I said, it is possible we could just see a direct breakdown here where we see this as ABC. Alternatively, if we manage to hold this 145.98 and this white support box, which we've already come into here, if we do manage to hold these 2 zones, particularly this 786, I'd like to see hold. A small wick through it would be fine, but I wouldn't like to see consolidation below these levels. Otherwise, it becomes more likely we're going to continue on and break this zone. If we do see something like this, this would also align with that 4th wave target box area, which if I switch out this and we have a look here, we can see that this 135 would align with this 1618 level. The 1382 and this 148 would also align. So moving forward here, what I'm going to be keeping an eye on is this. If we do see this move just develop as 3 waves to the upside here, not hitting this 1618, we could be setting up something for a flat here. If we do see price actually move up past this 1618 here at this $2.45, this would actually indicate that there's extension within the waves here, and we'd be looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 directly up from this point. But this would then mean, in my opinion, that this move is actually extending out internally here, and this could mean that we still have some more to go here before we actually see that bigger 4th wave looking to take place. Having a look at the daily CPR lines here, what we can see is we are currently below our central lines here. Now, for as long as we remain below these central CPR lines here, we have potential to actually see these bearish targets come into play. We have found support on our S1 line temporarily. If we do move back up towards this 168 to this 172 and still reject, we could potentially see some of these lower targets, 154, 147, and this 137 as potential downside targets for today. Now, if we do manage to flip back above these central lines, what we could see is a test of this 180, 187, 197, and this $2.03. Now we're going to come over here and have a look at the weekly pivot points. What we can see with the weekly pivot points here is that we've actually printed a higher CPR, which is good. Now we are currently underneath this CPR, which is not a good sign. But if we do see price look to push back down, I will be keeping an eye on this 140.49 because this would be our S1 line. Other targets to the downside for this week would be this $1.04 and this 73.64 as potential downside targets if we start to get more impulsive to the downside. If, however, we look to flip these central lines, which are sitting in between this 174 to this 168 level into support, what we could then see is potential to see this move up towards this 207. We have this 238 and this 274 for this week. Now moving over here and having a look at the monthly pivots, we have pretty much smashed through all of the targets for this month. What I'll be keeping an eye on here is that if we do look to actually get a deeper retracement here, we could potentially look to find support on this 126.13, 118.48, and this 106 on the move down here. If we do see a bigger breakdown into these lower zones, we'll be keeping an eye on these as potential support. Also, we have the $1.01 to this 95, which would be the central lines, which we have already moved up past. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and in the description you will find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We will see you in the next one. Take care.